Good afternoon, everyone. New Food Spectrum in association with SAIX welcomes you to today's webinar on the quantification of multi-residue pesticides and veterinary drugs in food matrices using the SAIX Triple Quad Q-Trap Ready System, LCMS-MS system. Now, labs today need rapid and selective screening methods to detect varieties of pesticides and veterinary drug residues. At SAIX, we continuously innovate to develop cutting edge, highly sensitive, and robust mass spectrometry technology to help you analyze low levels of analytes within complex matrices. With the right tools, you can now screen for dozens of residues in various types of food samples on a single system, rapidly deliver quantitative data surpassing MRL set by regulatory authorities via unparalleled sensitivity, empower your team through remarkable robustness, reproducibility, accuracy, and precision. And in today's webinar, you will get to learn how you can achieve sensitivity gains and flexibility you need to meet current and future analytical needs with SAIX Q-Trap technology LC-MSMS system for simultaneous qualitative and quantitative workflows. And to do so, I'm handing it over to Parikshit Gokhale, who is a marketing manager at SAIX India. Over to you, Parikshit.
Manmeena for the kind introduction. Hi everyone and welcome to today's webinar. I'll just give you a brief background about what SAIX is as a company, what we stand for, what we do, and then Bhavya, who's our sales development manager, will walk you through the presentation. So SAIX is a part of a much larger science and technology conglomerate called Danaher Corporation based out of Washington, DC in the United States. And the slide that you see basically talks about our shared purpose. Why do I show you this? Because we strive each and every day as associates of Danaher to innovate and deliver new technologies which can help advance the wellness and safety of each and every citizen of this world. And by doing that, we hope to help every person realize their own life's potential by being safe, healthy, productive, and successful in whatever vocation they choose. Danaher itself is divided into three large platforms. One is the life sciences, wherein we operate as one of the operating companies that you can see as SAIX. The second platform is diagnostics, and then it's environmental and applied solutions. And what you see right now, what we call as the Danaher Business System, is the mantra that we operate by. We swear by this, and this is what really defines how we do, what we do, and why we do. Right? If you see the logo of Danaher, it really represents that the customer comes first with the C on the left, and Danaher comes after that, which is the D on the right. And we strive by our 5 core value drivers. The first one of which is customers talk, we listen, which means customer feedback and customer expectations mean the world to us. And each and every day, we want to make sure to push ourselves in order to make sure our customers are satisfied, we meet their expectations, and honor our commitments to them. The other ones are the best team wins, and we compete for shareholders, which means we want to make sure that we keep pushing each other internally and the best team out of us wins each and every day out in the market. And we also don't shy away from the fact that we compete for shareholders. And that's the only way that Danaher sees a growth path forward. In addition to that, innovation defines our future. Being in the science and technology field, it's always important to constantly innovate, think out of the box, and disrupt the status quo with breakthrough technologies in the field of analytical tools within the pharmaceutical, food, academia, and clinical diagnostic businesses. But we also strive to have incremental improvements day in and day out in all the processes and work tasks that we do, which we call Kaizen. Okay, so diving back into what SAIX stands for. Our mission is to really deliver solutions for the precision detection and quantification of molecules, to empower our customers, to protect and advance the wellness and safety of all. And what is our overarching vision? To work together with our customers to relentlessly innovate these precision technologies, which can have a wide ranging and profound impact on the life of every person. Looking at the brief timeline of SciEx, so SciEx was really founded by Dr. Barry French and a few of his colleagues at the University of Toronto in 1970. And we delivered the first commercial triple quad, the triple quad MSMS instrument in 1981. So SciEx is really the pioneer of the modern LCMS-MS systems that you find adopted world over in several different applications. And throughout these 50 years, 2020 marks a very special 50th anniversary of SciEx. And when we look back, throughout these 50 years, we've had several milestones, of which I'd like to highlight just a couple, which were extremely important to us. 2002 marked the development of a proprietary technology called the Q-Trap, which meant our customers could do quantitative and qualitative analysis in a single workflow, in a single injection. And that technology is still exploited by a lot of our customers for doing multiple different analyses in food and pharmaceuticals. In 2012, we deployed and launched another a sophisticated software program called SWAT Acquisition, which was deployed in our high resolution accurate mass systems and enjoys a cult following the world over. In 2015, we launched another breakthrough instrument within the HRMS space called the X500 system. It came in two variants and it delivered an integrated hardware and software experience to our omics and biopharma customers. And now in 2020, we've launched three paradigm shifting products in the name of 7500 Echo MS and SciEx OS software. If you want to know more about these products which were launched, please get in touch with us and we will make sure that we give you personalized information on the products as well as how we can help you to solve your challenges in the lab. Like I said, we make mass spectrometers, but also we provide the front end separation solutions to our customers in the form of high pressure liquid chromatography, as well as capillary electrophoresis, which provides an orthogonal dimension of separation for difficult to separate molecules like chiral molecules. And we also have very powerful acquisition and processing softwares, which are fully 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. Our main R&D and headquarters is in Framingham, Massachusetts in the United States, and our manufacturing is in Singapore. And within India, we have our main offices in Gurgaon and Mumbai, along with several satellite offices in most of the large urban centers within the country. Okay, moving on to today's webinar, I'd like to go over a few of the housekeeping rules for today. So all microphones are muted through the webinar. I encourage each and every one of you to put in your questions in the Q&A box, and we will have a dedicated 10 to 15 minute Q&A session at the end of the webinar where we will try to answer all of the queries that are posted. If we cannot, we will make sure that we get in touch with you via email or phone and try to answer whatever questions or queries you might have. The presentation is being recorded, so it will be shared with all the attendees after the webinar as a on-demand video, which you can watch at your own leisure, right? And then again, you can submit the questions at any time, but we will only come to the Q&A session after the webinar at the end. A brief intro about our speaker for today. His name is Bhavya Shukla. He's the Sales Development Manager at SciEx. Bhavya graduated in biotechnology from SRM University and then pursued his postgrad in chemical engineering from ICT Mumbai. He has a total experience of 6 years in analytical industry, where the major part or major role has been to support LCMS users by providing them insights and optimal solutions to solve their challenges. He's also presented at various domestic and international symposia to increase awareness about the new trends and applications that are coming in the food and pharma arena, as well as speak about the increasing utility of LCMS system as a groundbreaking solution for the labs world over. With that, I hand it over to Bhavya.
So, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well and keeping yourself safe. I'm happy that you all took time from your busy schedule to attend this event. Today, I'll be presenting two critical parts. First, I'll be covering the multi-residue pesticide analysis quantification by using our SciEx triple quad system. And then I'll be talking about advanced features of QTrap system and how it can provide more insight compared to conventional LC triple quad system. So overall agenda will be to explain you all about our experiment's goal. Then we will discuss about overview and introduction, the material and methods, the various sample preparation techniques which were employed here, the experimental conditions for the optimization of LC and MS conditions, followed by our result and discussions. And at last, after conclusion, we will be talking about QTrap advanced functionalities. So our goal while performing this method was to develop multi-residue pesticide method in a single analysis by using two different food commodities, that is dehydrated onion and mango juice. We primarily selected these two commodities because they are exported to different countries in larger quantities and undergoes frequent checking. Okay, so before moving towards our experimental detail, I would like to highlight key features of our 3500 triple quad system. Now, it has a mass range from 5 to 2000 Dalton, which easily covers entire spectrum of residue analysis needed for all food samples, and it covers almost all the requirement of all the regulatory bodies. This system is equipped with two sources. One is electrospray ionization source, which is primarily used for polar compounds, and atmospheric pressure chemical ionization source, which is mostly used for the mid non-polar compounds. The design of source is orthogonal to the complete mass rail, which ensures that your system remains or perform trouble-free operation for longer duration, and that is why SAC system is used or have been predominantly used without any challenging situation in even in the complex samples as well. Now, next part is the polarity switching. Now, when we talk about the polarity switching, it can do polarity switching in 15 milliseconds, and thus positively as well as negatively ionized compounds can be ionized and covered in a single injection. It also consists of a unique mode of acquiring data, that is by using scheduled MRM algorithm, where we ensure that instead of looking for a particular MRM transition throughout the method run, we make our system intelligent enough to look for a particular MRM transitions when they are actually eluting out. Therefore, when we use this approach, the system can look for a particular transition for longer duration, and it also eliminates some of the interferences which might arise from other MRM transitions, which can be seen especially in the multi-residue method in a complex samples. The detector which we are using here is accurate pulse counting detector, which ensures that even though your compounds are present in lower intensity, system can capture them efficiently. This means more accurate and precise ion detection over a wide dynamic range while maintaining your maximum sensitivity. Now, apart from those unique sensitivity or parameters which are available with the system, there are some scan types which are commonly found in other conventional mass specs as well, such as Q1 MS scan or Q3 MS scan, which is mostly used for finding the mass which are present in your samples. Then there's a product ion scan, which is mostly used for the structural determination of unknown compounds. Then there's a precursor ion or neutral loss scan to detect compounds within a specific class that share a common structural moiety. Okay, so when we talk about the pesticides, what are these pesticides? So very simple language, I can say that pesticides are defined as biological or chemical substances which are used to prevent microorganisms, animals, or plants which cause harm to the crops and inconvenience to our health and our property directly or indirectly. At present, worldwide, you can see almost more than 1200 active substances are registered for pesticide production. Primarily, pesticides are classified as herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, and rodenticides, depending on their mode of action. But there is also another way by which you can classify pesticides, and in this way, you can create almost more than 100 classes or groups based on various functional groups attached with these pesticides, such as carbamates, triazines, pyrethroids, organophosphates, organochlorines, and many more. According to US EPA, mostly four classes of chemical pesticides are organophosphorus, organochlorine based, carbamates, and pyrethroid pesticides. When we talk about organophosphorus pesticides, they actually act by inactivating the neurotransmitter enzymes. Commonly used organophosphorus pesticides are parathion, malathion, chlorpyrifos. So these are very commonly used pesticides which are organophosphorus based pesticides. Then there is the organochlorine pesticides which act by interfering with ion channel receptors. Normally we used hepatochlor, chlordane, endosulfane. These are very commonly used organochlorines. Then carbamate pesticides are N-substituted ester of carbamic acids, and very commonly used pesticides which belong to this class is adlicarb, carbaryl, carbofuran. So, and apart from that, last is the pyrethroid pesticides, which are a synthetic analog of natural pyrethrins, and few prominent examples are fenvalerate and permethrin. Right? So these are the various pesticides which are used to ensure that the crop productivity increases and thereby meets or requirement of the global demand. Now, first thing is that why we need pesticides, right? So probably the one answer which is very sufficient to justify their use is that to increase the crop productivity by saving crops from getting damaged due to different pests. It could be either rodents or insects or fungi, or there are different ways by which your crop can be damaged. And why we need to increase the crop productivity? Because the growing population has made it compulsory that to feed everyone, we have to have a larger quantity of food. And the limited quantity of land which is available with us, the only option left is that we have to ensure that whatever crops we are producing should be controlled in such a way that it should not get damaged. So that is why the pesticide is becoming a kind of a necessary evil for us. But with the due course of time, due to persistent use of these pesticides in higher quantity, we saw lots of evidences related to harmful effect which these pesticides are causing to human as well as animals. Multiple reports of harmful effect led to the regulatory bodies across the globe to devise out stringent rules to control the use of these pesticides. Okay, so serious health concerns due to use of these pesticides has led many regulatory bodies, whether we talk about European Union or whether we talk about US FDA or Indian regulatory bodies like FSSAI, Export Import Commission, or APIDA or MPIDA, to control these pesticides use. Every year, more number of pesticides are being added in the list, and for few of the pesticides, the MRLs are also going down. To monitor such a huge list of different classes, one technology will not be able to completely suffice the work. Therefore, we use two different technologies. One is GCMSMS for analyzing almost all the volatile pesticides or pesticides which are mostly more towards the non-polar side. And then we use LCMSMS to cover polar, mid-polar, and mid-non-polar to mostly all the non-volatile pesticides. So here we have tried to quantify almost 177 pesticides in a single method by using our 3500 triple quad system to provide a more economic solution. We have employed efficient sample preparation technique to achieve performance of a mid-range system. Now this approach requires less initial capital investment, but little higher operating cost per sample due to sample preparation method which was employed here. As I have told earlier also, we selected onion and mango due to large quantity of both food commodities being exported to other countries. The limit of detection which we were able to achieve by using this system was around 1 ppb, which is meeting almost for the major of the pesticide requirement, that is 10 ppb. The linearity range which we covered was from 1 ppb to 100 ppb at 7 different levels. Repeatability result at 5 ppb was calculated, and it was well within 15%. Almost 90 to 95% of the pesticide gave a repeatability result below 10%, barring few of them. And similarly, correlation coefficient was also giving R square value greater than 0.99, which gives you a lot of confidence through across different concentration range. Okay, so chemical which we use here for the material methods was procured from Sigma Aldrich, which was LC-MS grade purity, more than 99% purity, and mango as well as dehydrated onion samples were procured from local market. So sample preparation technique which we used was common for both these food commodities. For mango and dehydrated onion, we used, for the extraction purpose, we use sodium sulfate and ethyl acetate. Once the extraction was done, we thoroughly mixed the solution and then centrifuged it. The supernatant was taken out, and then we added primary secondary amine to remove fatty acids, sugars, and some of the other organic acids component. We also ensure that excess of water is removed by adding sodium sulfate, and then it was further vortexed and centrifuged. And this supernatant was taken and directly entered into the LC-MS for further analysis. Okay, so the LC parameter conditions which have been mentioned, we used Shimadzu XR system, which is a UHPLC system which can handle a back pressure of around 18,000 psi, and it gives you a flexibility of using sub 2 micron columns, which eventually helps you to get higher peak capacity, better resolution, more efficiency. The mobile phase which we used was binary gradient, and in aqueous phase we added organic mobile phase modifier, that is 5 millimolar ammonium formate and 0.1% formic acid. Similarly, for the organic phase also we added 5 millimolar ammonium formate in 0.1 and 0.1% formic acid. The overall injection volume was 10 microliter, and the column which we used was Phenomenex Kinetics, which is very commonly used column for these kind of applications. Okay, so you can see the MRM transitions for different pesticides here. You can see both quantifier and qualifier and various optimized parameters associated with each of these transitions. Here you can see the declustering potential, and you can also see the collision energy which has been optimized for each and every transitions. Mostly the declustering potential remains same for any compound, but collision energies are further optimized to get the best intensity. Rest all the source parameters, which you can see on the right side of the top one, has been kept constant to get the maximum desolvation, most efficient ionization and desolvation conditions. Okay, the software which was used here for the quantitation purpose was Multiquant, and this software has a feature like it is very easy to use. It has lot of intuitive information which can be easily understood by very new users. It has unique integration algorithm which ensures that any person requires any very minimum manual intervention, and thus saves a lot of time for any of the users. It provides precise and efficient auditing features and thus ensures maximum lab compliance. Okay, so we used scheduled MRM, which is an advanced version of MRM. So in a normal conventional MRM approach, when we run these type of samples, we are creating almost more than 300 transitions. And when we are looking for these many transitions in a conventional MRM approach, we look for all these transitions throughout our run. So it means system is looking for 300 transitions throughout the run, means it is not able to devote that much time for a particular transition. Here we have made our system a little bit intelligent by ensuring that look for a particular transition only when that compound is coming. So you can see that time-based segmentation has been done for the transition. Now your system will be able to denote or devote more time for a particular transition, and thus the peak shape will be better, and you can see more cleaner spectra. Lot of interferences which might be coming from some persistent MRM transition will be removed here, and because of this we can add more and more number of transitions in a single method. So if I have to talk about the results, we use matrix match calibration so that we can eliminate matrix effect related challenges, and the linearity which we calculated was in the range of 1 ppb to 100 ppb, and we got the correlation coefficient of more than 0.99. Repeatability and accuracy result was also well within the guideline limit, and you can see that almost for almost at 5 ppb also for 3 replicates we did not get repeatability value more than 15%. And as I mentioned even earlier also that for almost 90% of the compounds, the repeatability value was within 10%, and which was well within the acceptable acceptance criteria of 20%. Similarly, you can see the recovery was also within the 80 to 110%, again within the acceptance criteria. And when you combine this repeatability and recovery result, you get very accurate and confident result in overall. The ion ratio was calculated, and it was almost for all the transitions, it was within 20%, and which is again within the acceptance criteria of 30% compared to standards which we run and the samples. So this is a comprehensive extracted ion chromatogram for 177 pesticides in both commodities, that is mango as well as for onion, which we have been showing here, when the data was captured using scheduled MRM mode to get more clearer and cleaner spectra. Similarly, you can see that a linearity plot, we can see here that the R square value throughout the concentration range for all these food commodities was more than 0.99%, and this was unanimously found for almost all the compounds, all the pesticides which we were looking out for. So for almost all the compounds except few one, we got repeatability data within 10%, as I was mentioning earlier. For one or two compounds, we got repeatability which was falling in the range of 15%. But still, despite of this, also everything was matching within the SANTE guidelines, which mentioned that 20% is acceptable criteria. And this gives a lot of confidence to users about the method which we are using, whether it is robust, and the system on which these methods have been developed are very much rugged. Okay, so by employing the efficient sample preparation technique and then using entry-end system, we were able to achieve detection limit of 1 ppb to cover major pesticides. Repeatability and recovery data helped in getting accurate results. Thus, it gave a lot of confidence on system's ruggedness and the method which was developed here with respect to its robust performance. So this was all about the experimental discussions which I wanted to highlight here. Now, moving from experimental explanation to move towards technological advancement discussion, which we wanted to show you all about our unique Q-trap system by highlighting advanced functionality associated with it. Okay. So SciEx Q-trap system is a hybrid system which constitutes two different mass analyzer. One is quadrupole, and then second one is linear ion trap. Mostly we all know that quadrupole creates tandem in space, whereas a linear ion trap provides tandem in time. Now, quadrupole based mass analyzer are very good in selection, but it cannot trap your ions. Now, mostly we have seen that quadrupole based analyzers are used for the quantitative purpose. That is why if you see triple quad, where we employ two mass analyzer, both of them are quadrupole, are mostly predominantly used for the quantitative purpose or the targeted analysis. Whereas linear ion trap has the capability of providing high resolution, It is mostly also provides a lot of structural information by able to fragment your component multiple times. So somewhere linear ant trap was giving you a more and more better quality in terms of the qualitative information. When you combine both these technology, that is quadrupole and linear ant trap in one system, you are actually getting a system which can do both quantitative as well as qualitative workflow. And this is what exactly Q-Trap system is. Here you can see that we are adding two system features. One is linear ant trap for providing better qualitative information, and then we are also having this quadrupole which can provide very good selection criteria. So when we combine these features in one system, you are able to perform various experiments which are not possible in any conventional triple quad system. Now you can see here on the bottom side, you can see that we are talking about various scan types and what is possible in triple quad and what is possible in Q-trap. Now product ion, neutral loss, MRM or precursor, all these modes are possible in both the systems. But apart from that, you can also do more advanced functionalities like enhanced MS, enhanced multiple charged, enhanced resolution, enhanced proton, and MS capability by using this Q-trap system. Okay. So here you can see a Q-trap ion rail. It is very much similar to our triple quad, where you can see this ion source followed by our ion optics, and then there is a Q1, there is Q2. This is the collision shell where you fragment a selected precursor ion, and then there is the Q3. This Q3 actually acts as a either quadrupole or as a linear ion trap in our Q-trap system, and because of this Q3 only, you are actually able to do both qualitative as well as quantitative workflow in the same system. Okay, so I just want to focus on the advanced functionalities which are available with the Q-trap system. So when we talk about the advanced functionalities, we can see that enhanced mass scan is something which is only possible in the Q-trap. Then enhanced protein, enhanced resolution, and MS, which is very much relevant to the food application. Enhanced multiple charge and time delayed fragment is something which is more applicable for the large molecule, which I'm not going to cover in this part, but I'll be focusing more on MS and MS with power N scans, which are very much relevant for the food application. Now, when we talk about enhanced MS, this scan provides a full scan analysis of all the analytes entering the Q-trap system at that point in time. So because of the trap functionality, you are actually able to remove a lot of unwanted components which are forming as a background, because you are able to trap your compound of interest and rest all the backgrounds can be eliminated. So this is something that's why it is called as the enhanced MS. Similarly, for the product ion, it is nothing but a conventional product ion where you are again able to trap your product in which you are interested. You are able to remove the backgrounds, and because of that, you can again see a very intense peak and very good signal to noise information here, which is not possible in conventional triple quad system. By using enhanced resolution, this scan mode actually allows for very high resolution by using this system. The system normally, when we talk about any conventional triple quad, it provides a peak width of around 0.7 Dalton. But in this system, you can achieve a peak width of around 0.15 to 0.3 Dalton. Therefore, it helps you to give information such as structural information, or when you want to perform any database or lab researches, it is very helpful for in those kind of applications. When we talk about MS, this scan is very powerful tool for finding structural information on a compound of interest, and it is also very much useful for sometimes to do the correlation in the complex matrix, where some of the challenging interferencing compounds might create a lot of false positive hits. This is something which will be very much helpful for known unknown screening workflows. So just a simple depiction of exactly what happens and how your ions are actually moving. So this part which I'm showing you here, let me just show the pointer option. Sorry. Okay, so this is where we are trying to show that all the compounds are entering into quadrupole 1, that is Q1. This is the collision cell, which is also called as Q2. Here we have, once we have selected one precursor ion, this precursor ion is further fragmented here. Now in a conventional triple quad, you will only be able to see these information. Either you can see all of these fragments, or you can select any specific fragment here. But in case of linear ion trap, or in case of Q trap technology, here you are in Q3, you are actually able to select any of this fragment, and you can refragment this fragment ion to generate the secondary fragment ion. And because of this, what you get MS, MS, and MS level of information, which is not possible in any conventional triple quad. Now, this is going to be very much helpful when you are handling some complex matrix and a lot of background interferences is seen in those kind of complex matrix. Now, just one depiction which I wanted to show here. Here we are showing that intact mass of reserpine in the enhanced mass scan. Now, when we want to find the product ion associated with this reserpine, we can see that when we do MS by imparting the high collision energy, we can see these are the various fragments which were found, right? Now, in case of conventional triple quad, you are only stuck with this kind of information. You will be getting all this information, but you are not sure that whether all these compounds are coming from this mass or it is coming from some background matrix. By using this MS capability of the Q-trap system, what we are doing that we are further selecting this 448 and 397. We are further refragmenting it again to get MS information of 448 and 397. So here you can see that 448 is giving you 236 and 195. Now you can correlate that this 448 might have broken down into 195. That is why you are seeing such a high peak of 195. Similarly, for 397, you can see that you can see a lot of peaks of 365 and 236, 174 and 192. And this is something which can be correlated here. So this is in this way, MS will be very much helpful for your application where you want to, where you are getting some lot of false positive hits, and whether your ion ratio is not matching, but transitions are matching. So this kind of additional information will be able to give you a lot of confidence in your results. Okay. So now moving to the next stage, that is information dependent acquisition. Now this is a very unique and powerful workflow specifically present only in the Q-trap system. It employs both functionalities of Q-trap, linear ion trap, as well as triple quad system, and thus gives more insight about your samples in a single injection. So in any conventional triple quad system, what normally we do, we first run our unknown sample and we perform MS scan to get complete detail of masses present in the sample. Then we select few of those precursor ion and perform product ion scan to get MS level information. This is what we do this is what we do for individual peak or masses. And in case of complex spectra, it will consume a lot of time to reach to any conclusion because you will be getting a lot of peaks. A lot of peaks need to be introspected. But by using this IDA workflow or information dependent acquisition workflow, we can club multiple scan modes and create a default workflow which can give you maximum information in a single injection by performing multiple scans such as enhanced mass scan, enhanced resolution, enhanced product ion, and MS level of information in a single injection. It saves a lot of time, and it also gives a lot of confidence that a lot of variability which could arise due to different number of injections can be removed by using this information dependent acquisition. So what exactly we are doing? We are just trying to show you here one workflow for the impurity profiling. So what we are doing that here we are doing enhanced mass. We have injected a sample and we are doing these various scans. By using the enhanced mass scan, we are actually able to identify all the components which are present in the samples. By using the enhanced resolution, we are getting information at the isotopic level to get the information about the chemical composition of a particular masses. Then if these criteria are met, system will go for information dependent acquisition and it will acquire data at the enhanced protein mode where you will be getting all the protein information, not for 1 or 2 transitions, but for 7 to 8 transitions. and it will further do MS to give you information at the secondary fragment level as well. Now all this data will be captured in a single injection. All this information will be captured in a single injection. So you can see here that we are just trying to show you a total ion chromatogram and UV profile associated with it. Now you can see a lot of peaks can be seen here, and we want to probe all these peaks one by one. So just for your understanding here, you can see that at different transition time, different masses can be seen here. Now this is the TIC of the sample, and this is the mass spectrum of the sample. We have selected this 607. So extracted ion chromatogram of this 607 is seen here. And what we are getting, that we are also getting product ion information, enhanced product ion information from here. At the same time, we are also getting enhanced resolution is also captured to give you elemental composition information. And it also is able to give you MS level information. So all this information you are getting in a single injection. You don't have to do multiple injections and spend more and more time just to get or reach to a certain conclusion. In a single injection, you are getting maximum information, so that at least you can develop method faster and faster. It also provides a lot of insight which a triple quad cannot provide, such as MS level information, and it adds more level of confidence in your results. Now, when we talk about workflow, so workflow is not only associated with a single ways. There is a lot of flexibility which you can select with the different modes. The way you can select their sequence. So if we select enhanced mass scan, enhanced resolution, followed by enhanced protein, and then MS, you can actually you can get very good result for the screening applications. And the advantage which you will be seeing is that very good sensitivity here. Similarly, you can also select neutral loss or protein, followed by enhanced resolution, enhanced protein, and MS information, which will be very much helpful for the screening and structural information. And it again provides very good sensitivity. Then you can also select MRM followed by EPI. Normally, it will be very much helpful for the targeted and confirmatory analysis, and it further adds more and more selectivity and specificity and more sensitivity in your results by using this workflow. So major application for which we can use QTrap. If we see for targeted analysis, triple quad is very commonly used and used as a gold standard technique, but which can be easily done by a QTrap system. But for non-targeted application, you can use QTrap. For the metabolite identification, you can use QTrap system. For any peak which is creating a challenge for you, for which you want to get more information, by using different functionalities of QTrap, you can get more and more information. You can do MS level of information for the quantification purpose. It is also very much helpful for the unknown screening workflows, not a replacement for the TOF or HRMS technology, but I can say that a technology which can give more insight compared to a conventional triple quad system. And it can be very much helpful for the screening purpose. So I would like to acknowledge my global team as well as my Indian team for doing this experiment and collecting all this information. And with that, this is the end of my presentation. Now the floor is open for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bhavya, for the presentation. And yes, we are now opening the floor for the Q&A. So we'll start taking up the questions. So Bhavya, can you please come on board so that we can start the Q&A session?
Yes.
Yes, Bhavya. So we see the first question on the screen that says that how does QTrap reduce matrix effect or the background effect?
Okay, so in QTrap, when you use the advanced modes such as MS or MRFQ, what you can do that you can remove the background effect by using those advanced features, because normally we have seen in case of multi-residue analysis where you have a lot of transitions which you need to find throughout the method run, and it also has a lot of complex background matrix effect. So just to ensure that you can remove all those background effect, you can use this advanced features of the QTrap. other than going for that something related to sample preparation advancement.
All right. That answers it. Now we have the next question that can we use internal standards to understand the matrix effect?
Normally, we have seen that internal standard will not be able to provide you the right picture, because we have seen that normally internal standards elute out at a different time. So it might not give the right picture of what is the matrix challenges which your actual compound of interest might be facing. What we suggest sometimes that you can go for isotopic label internal standard, which will elute at the same time, and it will give the right information about what is the exact matrix suppression or enhancement which your system might be facing.
All right, all right. So here I would like to add one question from my side, that are we to see a new version of this system anytime soon in 21?
A new version of the we keep on innovating with a lot of models, and yes, our research and development team is working on a lot of new innovative ways to increase the sensitivity and bring a lot of new features in the system to make it even more powerful. So yes, I mean, you have to just keep looking, going through our website, and you will be getting a lot of exciting new instruments which will be coming in future.
Great, thank you. Okay, getting back to the question from the audience. The next one is how to address little shift in time retention and ion ratios.
So mostly we have seen that this is a really frequent challenge which normally we see. And again, this is very much predominant in case of multi-residue analysis, especially in the food matrices. So mostly MRM transitions match sometimes, but we have seen that ion ratio don't match when we compare it with the standard end versus the samples. So by using a scheduled MRM approach, where instead of looking for all those transitions throughout the run, what you do that you make your system a little bit more smart, and just ensure that you look for the particular transitions only when actually they are going to elute out. So, in this way, you can actually you can get a better ion ratio, and we have seen that many times. We have seen that even the ion ratios which were falling in the outlier region also fell within the acceptance criteria. So that's something by which you can actually improve your ion ratios also.
Well, okay, thank you so much for all the information out there, Bhavya. So this brings us to the end of the session. And in case there are any other questions which are left, we'll definitely share it with you after the session so that you can reach out to the audience directly. So thank you so much for all the information, and I'm sure the audience must be very happy with the information that you have provided. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for listening to me patiently. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.